Welcome back to Let's Make Lemonade. My name is Selena, and if you are new here, I have infertility. My husband and I are newly pregnant, and we have been dealing with infertility for 10 years, so this is a pretty big deal. We are pregnant via IVF, and we have been trying for 10 years, so it is a dream come true to finally be at this point. If you have not seen our video when we found out that we were newly pregnant, check that out because that's pretty cool. That's a good one. You'll need some tissues for that though. So today, what I want to talk to you about is if you are approaching IVF, or if you're thinking about IVF, or you're in the process of it, whatever it is, I want to talk about 3 things that I wish that I knew before going into IVF. So we decided to do IVF, or we decided that we were finally ready to do it by this time last year. So we knew by the end of 2018 that we were going to approach IVF. And we basically, I started on birth control pills in December of 2018. And here we are, September 2019. So it's definitely been a long journey, but it's been worth it. But what I want to talk to you about is just a lot of the preparation going into IVF and the things that I learned along the way that I just want to share with you that maybe can help you mentally before going into it. So number 1, stay flexible. So what I mean by that is, as women, I don't know about you, but it's so easy to get stuck on a timeline. It's so easy to predict, okay, because I don't know how long you've been trying, but I can pretty much guarantee that you want a baby like yesterday, right? So when you go into IVF, you have this hope and you're nervous and you're excited all at the same time, and you're hoping that this is going to finally make your dreams come true, right? There's a timeline. You'll get a flow sheet, eventually as the process happens, and whatever your doctor's protocol is, the staff will show you everything that is to happen and what the dates are and the months and all this stuff. However, we as women, a lot of us tend to predict, right? Okay, so if I'm gonna have my egg retrieval here, then maybe I can have my transfer here, and then maybe we can be pregnant in this month. And then sometimes some of us go as far as to say, well, then maybe we'll have our baby in, this month, 9 months, 10 months later. And I would just say, do your best to try to refrain from that. It's so exciting and it's so hard depending on how you're programmed, right? If you're a type A, you just like to be organized, you want to, just think about it. I would say things happen, plans change. And as much as you don't want them to happen, or as much as you don't want those plans to change, a lot of times they do. For example, we had our egg retrieval in January of 2019. And after that retrieval was done, my husband and I decided to go to Puerto Rico, where my family is from. And I decided, oh my gosh, all the bloating, and I did get OHSS. So, and if you don't know what that is, look it up. And so I needed time to relax and just kind of let my body, just rest. So we decided that we were going to freeze all of our embryos because of our age. We decided to do PGS testing. I have all these videos, so feel free to look at that. So we knew that we were going to have at least a month to wait, for our PGS testing and all that stuff. Well, so we went to Puerto Rico and we come back and, I talked to my doctor and he's like, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, great. I had a wonderful time. I got to, I went on vacation. I got to relax. And so then as soon as I told him, he said, I'm so sorry to tell you this, but we're gonna have to pause and delay your transfer for 3 months because the Zika virus is still alive on the island of Puerto Rico. And if you contracted Zika, or if you were bitten by a mosquito with the Zika virus, that obviously would have some detrimental effects on the baby. And even though we did the egg retrieval in January, it's all about when the baby's in utero, right? So as the baby is growing, that's when it matters. So I was bummed, I was disappointed, I was so upset, I was so mad. I just walked out of that room just crying to my husband. And we just had to wait longer. And the last thing that you want to hear is that you have to wait longer. But it happens. And if it doesn't, oh my gosh, kudos to you. That's awesome. You are the very few, because a lot of us, whether it's in the process we find, oh, we have to have a hysteroscopy, or we have to have a laparoscopy, or oh my gosh, we have to have all these extra tests, we got to do the ERA, we got to do the Receptiva DX. Anything can change. And so I just say, try to be flexible, because it only hurts you more when you stay stuck on a timeline and it doesn't happen. Number 2, be your own advocate. What I mean by that is, assuming that you are going to, have a consultation with all of the fertility doctors that you can in your area. If you have more than one, you're very blessed, right? I know we did, and there were a lot of doctors I didn't feel right about until we found the one that we felt right about. But even in that, you trust your doctor, and at the end of the day, they know a lot more than you. However, in the process, if you feel like you want or need an extra test, you have every right to ask for it and demand it. I mean, it's your money, it's your body, and if it gets to a point where you have great, beautiful embryos and you want to do some extra testing before and possibly losing them, I feel like you have that right for that. For example, when we went in the process, I was 35, and of course age was a factor. So many things can be factors for you. I never ruled out endometriosis, but I thought I had it. And no doctor wanted to have a laparoscopy to find one out. Doctors are a little bit reluctant to have a surgery just because I want one, right? So thankfully, there's another test called Receptiva DX, which I did a video on. And basically, it's a biopsy that your RE does, and they send it to a lab, and basically it rules out endometriosis, which is less invasive than a laparoscopy. And so, but the whole point is he really was reluctant to do surgery. And so I'm like, dude, I don't want to move forward unless this is done, because I don't know I've never been pregnant up until that point. And so I thought, well, I need to rule everything out. We're not going to half-ass this, you know what I mean? We're going to do all of it. We're going to go all the way. And my husband and I were in agreement about we're going to do all the tests that we need to. So he said, well, I'm not willing to do a laparoscopy, but thankfully there's this new test called Receptiva DX, which I did a video on. And so feel free to watch that. And anyway, long story short, we ended up doing it. And thankfully, we ruled out endometriosis, and however, he found polyps. And so I had to get a hysteroscopy to remove all of those polyps, and then a DNC to get rid of all of that. And so if I did not push for it, even though I didn't have the endometriosis, the polyps were still found. And so if I didn't push for that, I'm not sure if this embryo would have implanted and we'd be pregnant now. So trust your gut, trust your instinct, be your own advocate. I say that every time. If you're feeling it, there's a reason for it. Number 3, don't compare. So if you're a part of the infertility community, which there's a lot of infertility people in Instagram that you can find, and before you know it, your whole feed is of infertility people. It is so easy to compare numbers. How many eggs were retrieved? How many embryos were sent to PGS, and how many came back, and blah, 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 blah. However, there are so many factors that you have to consider. Does this woman have good egg quality? What her age is? There's so many things that play into it. And so if you're gonna be on communities like that, which I totally agree with, because it's been so healing for me to be able to talk to other women who are going through this, just know that the shoes that you're wearing are only the shoes that you fill. And so do your best to try not to compare to the other women who are possibly further along than where you want to be, because we are all on this journey. We're all in different places, and hopefully we're all going to get there some way or another. And it only is heartbreaking and causes a heartache when you just compare, because it makes you feel like you're not good enough or that you're broken, when shame has a way of already making us feel that way in this process. So I hope that those 3 things make sense to you. If you are in the wait, gosh, I hope that you don't have to wait any longer. I know for us, I pretty much gave up. I'm gonna be open and honest. I gave up. But by this time last year, we decided the last plan was gonna be to do IVF. One last go at it. And wow, we are 11 weeks pregnant today, and I'm so thankful that we decided to move forward. So, IVF is not a guarantee. IUIs are not a guarantee. However, there have been a lot of success. So I hope that whatever you find yourself doing, whether it's through those infertility treatments, whether it's through adoption, whether it's through fostering, I just hope that you can get to a place where you're happy and that you get to that motherhood that you have been dreaming for. So I will end there. I won't keep you any longer. I certainly hope that you are doing great and that this possibly helps you in going into your IVF or infertility treatments, let's just say that, going into that process. I wish you all the best. And until next time, see you then.